Well, good morning and welcome to Chairman's Corner. It's been a little while since we've done this, and that's because we've got a new chairman, and that would be Chairman Ray Mayo. Congratulations and good morning to you.
Good morning, Carol. It's really good to be with you. It's really good to be and honored to be chairman of this Wayne County Board of Commissioners and also to represent, obviously, the board. But it's been really a busy time since I've never been chairman. A lot of meetings, a lot of good information, meetings outside of the county that I'm really pleased to be able to represent the board and the citizens of Wayne County.
You've been on the board for 9 years, is that correct, or almost?
Starting my ninth year, yes.
Starting your 9th year, and this is your first time as chairman, as you said. Tell me what your first month has been like leading the Wayne County Board of Commissioners.
It's been really hectic, and I think the reason it's been hectic is because of our priority with the quarter-cent sales tax. We're having a lot of meetings. Craig Honeycutt, our county manager, and Dr. Dunsmore. I'm following these guys to all the meetings that we're having with the quarter-cent sales tax. So that, along with the other boards and commissions and responsibilities as chairman, it's been busy, real busy.
And we're going to talk about the, it's called a local options sales and use tax referendum. It's going to be on the March 3rd primary ballot.
Yeah.
This is something that the Board of Commissioners voted on, and kind of a historic event happened recently where the Board of Commissioners and the Board of Education came together. That doesn't often happen in any county, let alone Wayne County, because both boards are trying to get a lot accomplished, and sometimes it's a little difficult to do that. But here in Wayne County, these two boards came together, and let's talk about that, because you and the chairman of the Board of Education got to sit at the front of that room and watch everybody come together over school facility issues.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I look at it as one of the turning points in the future of Wayne County, because for the first time that I can recall, we had a joint meeting. The school board and the Wayne County Board of Commissioners have been working for years to develop a really close relationship, and keeping in mind, of course, that our number one goal is for our children of our county. So coming together and really doing a different job in marketing the quarter-cent sales tax. If you remember, this comes as a recommendation from the school board
Right.
this time. And so we all came together and said, look, we have tremendous needs for facilities. And you can say, well, you know, why do we need all this money for facilities? Well, the key is that not only do we have to have great teachers and great staff at the Board of Education, but we also have to provide safe and modern buildings for our children, because obviously safety reasons and also health reasons. Keeping in mind that we have 3 schools in Wayne County right now that are over 100 years old. We have to address these issues in the future. So yes, I guess it was one of the highlights of my 8 years being a commissioner when we had this joint meeting.
That's great. And you talk about the different meetings that you're going to, and these are involving civic groups or different organizations that want to learn more about the sales and use tax.
Yeah.
Let's tell our listeners and viewers now for Channel 10 what exactly are some of the facts involving the sales and use tax and why it's being called a fairer tax.
I will. It's estimated that with the quarter-cent sales tax, more people are involved as far as our citizens. When you go buy something, for example, every $100 that you spend, you will spend 25 cents toward the quarter-cent sales tax. Keep in mind, this does not include food that you buy at the grocery store, does not include gas, and does not include
Medicine.
medicine. So anything else, 25 cents per $100. Now, right now that would raise about 2.6 million. We would expect that to grow because our county's going to grow. So that tax hopefully will grow more in the years to come. I think the big thing is that we can share alike and spread this out among everyone rather than the opposite of doing a property tax increase. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do any kind of tax increase. But this is the most fair way. The other thing is that people ask, well, what about the lottery? Well, our funding from the lottery has already been appropriated in our schools. It's already used. What we're looking at is above and beyond the lottery. My point is this, is that we have to deal with what we have on the table. We can't say, let's wait for the lottery to increase, or let's wait for our legislatures, or wait for the federal government. We have to deal with what we have on the table. And if some of these things come to pass in the years to come, that gives us more money for education. But we have to take care of our own, so to speak. So, having said that, it really is a 20-year commitment that this Board of Commissioners made. And people ask me all the questions. So, how do we know that future commission boards can't change? Well, we have it set up to where nothing can change on these projects unless the Board of Education and the Board of Commissioners come together and agree on a change. Now, money, it may change because the specific projects we have listed are estimates. We have to go out for bids. It could come in lower, which we hope it will, but if we don't use all this $32 million, it goes to the next phase, because this is going to be a continuing rebuilding and renewing and remodeling of our existing schools in Wayne County.
That's fantastic. And I think one of the most interesting things that I've heard is when people are trying to do a calculation, it's a quarter of a penny. So imagine 1/4 of a penny being taken out. But someone said if you went out and bought a $20 lottery ticket, which a lot of people do, it would take you $8,000 approximately in spending to reach that $20 in sales and use tax.
Right.
That's incredible, but we can generate as a county $2.6 million annually on average by incorporating this 1/4 cent
Yes.
sales tax.
That is correct.
That's just, those are really interesting facts that people do need to know. So you touched on something that is a part of this project and agreed upon by the two boards, safety and security. That's been something that you've talked about for a long time.
Yes, it is. As an example, in the northern part of the county in my district, at Northwest Elementary, as of today, there's 16 mobile classrooms up at Northwest. And you've heard me preach this ever since I've been a commissioner. Safety is a big issue with mobile classrooms. They're not part of the main building. They're set separate, and the safety issues and just transporting kids to restroom facilities and lunch, it's just a huge safety. Part of this project, and this is just one part, is building a new elementary school in Fremont, and about 600 students. And what that will do is that will allow us to shift students from Northeast and Northwest, and even as far away as Rosewood, to get rid of those mobile home classrooms. We're never going to do away with all of them, but 16 is just too many.
Right, and they're going to be building additional classrooms as
That is
well.
correct. We're going to be building eight more classrooms at Northwest. And so the key is that we have to meet this K-3 mandate that we have that the state has put on us on the lower classroom size. So what we're doing, we are addressing two things. We're addressing the age of our buildings and the upkeep, plus we are addressing the more classrooms we got to have to meet the K-3 mandate.
One of the elephants in the room, and I think we'll end with this because there's one more little factor out there, or we hope a big factor. People say, well, you've discussed buildings that are over 100 years old, one being Rosewood Middle School. And that was, the legislators came down and toured that. It was really big in the news, but it's not on this list. Address that issue.
It's not on the list, but it is on the second phase, which is years 5 through 10. It is on the list. In 5 years, hopefully we can get to it before then. It's all going to hinge on basically how much of this phase 1 we can do and how much we can do in phase 2 by what the state does. If the state legislature comes up with some money for brick and mortar, we can address Rosewood sooner.
Exactly.
So all this has to do with the funding that is provided. So yes,
Right.
you may say, oh my gosh, I'd really like to have, well, the key is that the Board of Education and the Board of Commissioners have established priorities, and this is not off of a whim. This is long studies that have been done by the Board of Education and some of the Board of Commissioners to make sure that these projects are legit. So, yeah, we're still going to be to the mercy of the state to a certain degree.
Well, and hopefully we'll have some information on their budget numbers, which affect our Board of Education and our Board of Commissioners.
Yeah.
And once we get that, then there could be some great news about others. Final thought is people need to understand getting out to vote, and we're presenting the facts, but getting out to vote is the most important part about this primary election, March 3rd. Early voting begins February 13th. There'll be 3 early voting locations. But we need this to pass as a county to help with the school projects. And right now, the other option is going with a property tax increase, which the commissioners don't want to do.
No, we don't. I would ask that the public, for example, our county manager, Craig Honeycutt, and I, and also Superintendent Mike Dunsmore, and several of his staff, we are getting wide support from the municipalities in Wayne County. So far, we have been to Fremont council meeting and also Mount Olive, and both of those boards passed the resolution for the quarter-cent sales tax unanimous. We're short on time, we know that, but Mr. Honeycutt and I and Dr. Dunsmore, we have Pikeville, Eureka, Walnut Creek. We will go to any municipality or organization. We also have a few different clubs here in town that we are going to
Right.
go and do a presentation. We're also asking for the Wayne County Board of Realtors to come on board with us. Commissioner Bill Pate is working on the farmer side to get farmers involved in for the quarter-cent sales tax, because as you know, Bill being a part of the Maxwell Center and so forth, he is
Right.
well connected to the farmers in
farming
Wayne
community.
County. So I would ask the citizens of Wayne County that if for no other reason, don't be selfish. I, as an example, have no children in school, but I have a grandchild, and my great-grandchildren, and on down the line. We need to do this for our children, if for no other reason. We need to do it for our children.
I think that's a perfect way to end this, and I thank you. I'm looking forward to doing the Chairman's Corner with you on a monthly basis, and I hope we've covered everything that you wanted to today.
Yes, we have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chairman. And that does it for the Chairman's Corner. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.